start recording. Okay, so I think I did this with Calc AB. F of negative 2 is 7. The graph of f prime, the derivative of f consists of a semicircle with 3 line segments. Okay. They're giving us this point, remember, and they're giving me the derivative, which means I can find any other value of f because f of x has to equal 7 plus the integral from negative 2 to x of that derivative. And the integral of that derivative, whatever, the integral of that's going to be the area under that curve, right? So to find f of negative 6, we basically going to take the value, again, we know it's 7 at negative 2, right? That's right here. We got to find the area back in here. The area back in there as a triangle, right, is 4 times 2. It's 8 times a half is 4. So that tells me f, because that's a graph of f prime, that tells me f increases by 4 on that interval. But we're going backwards. So if f increases by 4 like this and you land on 7, then the y value you started at had to have been 3. Okay, so it's really 7 minus 4. If you want to write that out correctly the whole way, it looks like this. That's really what we're doing. And anytime you're integrating like backwards, like from a right to a left, with area, if it's on the calculator or if you're doing it by hand and actually plugging values in, it doesn't matter if you're going right to left. But if you're doing area, you might as well flip those limits and change the sign out front so you don't mess this up. So now it's just the integral from negative 6 to negative 2, which is 4. That's just the area in there. If you go backwards, it's the opposite of the area. But either way, you get 3, which is what we're expecting. To get f of 5, that's just, it's 7, right, plus the integral. But that's going to be the area in each of these little quarter circles is a pi. Okay, a pi is pi. And the area in this triangle is 3 times 2 times a half, which is 3. So it's 7 plus 3 minus 2 pi, which is 10 minus 2 pi. Cool. On what intervals is f increasing? This is a joke. Come on now. On the interval negative 6 to negative 2 and from 2 to 5. Since f prime of x is positive. How hard is that? Find the absolute min value of f. So remember, if they ask you to find relative max and mins, you can check a number line, you can check the concavity and see if the derivative is 0. But if they ask you to find absolute min, or just the min in general with the closed endpoints, that's when you want to check all your critical values. It doesn't matter about the number line. You want to find the values at all the critical values. So the first thing you need to do when they ask you to find absolute max or min is say, hey, I know I need to find where the derivative is 0. And that's going to happen at, what, negative 2, 2, and 5. And then we got to find the value at negative 2, 2, 5, and the endpoints. But 5 is an endpoint, so is negative 6. And they've already made us find negative 6, which was 3. They already made us find 5, which is 10 minus 2 pi. F of negative 2 is given. That was 7. And f of 2 has to be 7 minus 2 pi. That makes sense. And you can tell here, just by looking at our derivative, this thing says this. We go up, so we start at 3, right? We go up 4, 3, there's 7. But then we go down 2 pi, which is going to take us down below 3, right? And then we're going to go back up again by 3. So it's going to look something like that. Okay, so you can definitely tell the absolute min is going to be at 2, because that's where we're going from negative to positive on my derivative. But this could have been a relative min too. All right, it just turns out that we go down further than we went up, right? We go up this distance, then we went down this length. Either way, you list out all the values like I did here. Let me bound this off here. And then you got to find which one's the lowest. Sometimes that's super easy. Here you got to think a little bit, but 7 minus 2 pi is definitely the least of those. So you're going to write the absolute min is at 2, well, let's write it out better than that, is f of 2. They just ask us to find the absolute min. That means the y value. So it's that. And you're right, I checked the endpoints, blah, 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 and where f prime of x is 0. Good work. Cool. And D says find f double prime negative 5 and f double prime 3. Well, that's the derivative of the derivative, and we have a graph of the derivative, so it's the slope of that graph. So f double prime of negative 5 is the slope right here, but you can see we're going down to over 4, so that's negative 1/2. And f double prime at 3 is undefined, or does not exist, I guess, if they want to write like that. Because f prime, the graph of f prime, right? We should say it because the graph of f prime of x has a corner. There you go. Done. You did it.